everyone, it's Shell from Scrap Secrets and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is part of the February card hoppin' event, and we are challenged to do a embossed card with either vellum or pattern paper and to make it sparkly. So I'm going to use a sheet of vellum. I'm putting some light kaolin clay over top of it and an embossing folder from We Are Memory Keepers. So this is the second set of cards that I tried to do. The first set, I did not love the way that they came out. I did some experimenting, and this was the one that I liked the best. So I'm taking the We Are Memory Keepers embossing folder and using some Versamark ink on the one side of it, placing the vellum in, and then I ran it through my die cut machine and came back, and I just had to be really careful. Vellum is very, very thin for anybody who's ever worked with it. You have to be very careful when you are embossing with it, whether either dry or heat embossing. It does tend to get either warped or cracked depending on which one you're doing. So just be careful with it. I pulled it out of the embossing folder very carefully and it was fine. So because the Versamark was all over the back of it, I thought that it was just going to be on the outline. So I think that I probably inked up the wrong side of the embossing folder, but I love the way that this came out in the end. So it was a happy accident. So I'm using some gold embossing powder and pouring it all over the back of it. It gets everywhere. It gets all over my hand. You'll see there. And when I was trying to put the embossing powder back into the container, I thought that I had the lid off and I did not. So if my desk is messy, I apologize. That's what happened. There is embossing powder all over. So before I go to heat up the vellum, I'm actually going to turn on my heat tool, put it off to the side for a couple of seconds, let it warm up so that it doesn't warp the vellum. Vellum, again, is very easily warped. So you want to keep the heat tool moving and you want to make sure that it's good and hot before you bring it to your vellum. Now, this is my favorite part, is watching that embossing powder melt and just become that solid image. I just absolutely love the way that it looks. And you can tell there the difference between the non-heated up embossing powder and the heated up part. When it heats up, you can see that it becomes very shiny. When it's not heated, it's very dull. So you can tell the difference between where you still need to go over with your heat gun. So that is the background, and I thought that I was actually just going to be doing the outline in the gold, and then I was going to be using some Copic markers behind the vellum and color them in, but this turned out way better. So I'm going to use my spray box and use some mica distress spray in a silvery gray color. What I forgot was that embossing powder is pretty resistant to everything. So some of that silver did get on there. However, more got on my hands and on my desk than anything. The next step that I thought that I was going to do was take that silver glitter cardstock, and I thought that I was actually going to put it behind the panel, the embossed panel, and so I cut out the middle of it because I am cheap. I don't like to waste anything, and I love this paper, so I cut out the middle of it. However, I then decided that I wanted it to be a shaker card. So when I cut out the middle, I cut it out pretty much as evenly as possible. That was kind of an accident, but I did like the way that it looked as a frame. So I'm going to cut down some packaging using some Barely Arts glue to attach the old packaging front to the frame. So while I am doing that, and then you're going to see me use the light kaolin clay again to go over the old packaging so that you take off all of the, like any fingerprints, anything that might have the shaker pieces stick to it. I'm going to use that same Barley Arts glue to go ahead and put the background down on the card front, and it is it's a it's a little over 5 1/4 square card. So I'm going to go ahead, I put the front down, and then we are going to create the shaker pieces. You'll see that I do use that light kaolin clay after I go ahead and put the foam tape down, because what you want to do is make sure that the sides don't stick either, so that if the sides of the tape are sticky and the shaker pieces can get stuck in it very easily. So you want to make sure that you take that stick away, but not the stick from the back that's going to go ahead and close around the card. So we're going to fill it with some shaker pieces that I had that were just lying around on my desktop. And while we're doing that, I thought I'd talk to you a little bit about the hop. So this is the February card hopping event. There are several of us that are participating, and we're either using vellum or pattern paper. You want to make sure that you click on the hashtag in the video description, the title of the video, so that you can find everybody's videos that are participating. We do this every month. I am hopeful that I'm going to be able to do the other months. Work and school and everything is just crazy. I know that I'm traveling a lot the next couple months, so I may not be part of it, but I'm going to try my best to do the next couple months until I get a little bit of a reprieve, almost done classes. But it's such a fun thing to do. If you guys are interested in joining us, leave me a message, let me know. There is a Facebook group that you are going to be asked to be part of, and you will get the theme and the technique for every month, and it's such a fun challenge to do, so that I hope you guys join us, and I also hope that you guys are enjoying the hop. I can't wait to see what everybody else has made. We don't see the videos until after they go up, so very excited to see what everybody else has done. So back to the card, we are going to be filling the shaker pieces in. You saw that I did the light kaolin clay. I'm going to go ahead and pour in a ton of the shaker pieces. I did go ahead and use the microfiber cloth that I had sitting on my desk to take some of that light kaolin clay away, because it does leave a little bit of a film behind, so it was a little bit cloudy. But once that was done, that doesn't add anything, like any oils or anything to it. So it's fine to use a microfiber cloth because it won't leave anything behind. Went ahead and dumped in those shaker pieces, and then I'm going to put the card base on top of that to go ahead and seal everything together. However, what I did not realize was that because we used that mica powder and because there is embossing powder behind it, it doesn't stick that well. So you will see a couple pieces fall out, and I apologize for that, but I actually went back later on and put something on top of it so that it would stick down, and now none of the pieces fall out of it. I probably should have used a stronger glue. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you have comments or questions, please leave them below, and I'll see you guys again real soon for another video. Bye!